goes up, and as you get to the top of the hill, exiting turn 4, you'll already be at 160 miles an hour. That run down the long back straightaway down to the bus stop chicane, up over 170 miles an hour. An excellent place for packing once again. Turns 5 and 6. We're going through 5 right now. On your right-hand side, that's the old track. That's the track that NASCAR uses. We go down to the new section, down into the boot. We are now going through turn 6, back on the gas, that run towards 7. Another opportunity for passing. Once you're outside turn 7, coming here through turn 8, opportunity for passing, but very bumpy. Now we head back up the hill in a very slow section, also getting back onto the original racetrack. Accelerate very quickly, going through turns 10 and 11. Watch the speed here in turn 10, 140 miles an hour on entry, keeping the speed up, going through turn 11. You have to exit here very quickly so you get a good run down the straightaway. Watch how close the Armco barrier is there on the left-hand side. It's a great racetrack, very physically demanding.
Great layout. Watkins Glen, you can see the cars. Next time by, we will be going green. Next time by, as you see the starting lineup across the top of the screen. Remember, we talked about winning positions out of 2, 3, and 4. That means Castroneves, Briscoe, and Dario Franchitti, according to the books, have the edge. How about our 6 onboard cameras? We've got Dan Weldon, appropriately with the National Guard on board. Danica Patrick with the GoDaddy.com. Scott Dixon for Target Chip Ganassi Racing. Marco Andretti with Venom Energy. Adam Carroll with Boost Mobile. And Ryan Hunter-Ray with his full season ride now with IZOD, Dr. Pepper, and Snapple, a bunch of others coming on board. Great news for him today. He had a big smile on his face. Time to get final reports from pit lane. Let's first check in with Jamie Little.
Well, Marty, one driver who came into this race with a lot of momentum on his side, E.J. Viso. He finished 3rd at Iowa, the IndyCar Series last stop. That was his best career finish, but it all came to an abrupt halt in yesterday morning's practice. You could see here, he comes into turn 2, extremely hot, overshoots it, goes through the grass, bends the skid plate underneath. He loses control, hits the wall not once, but twice. That resulted in going to a backup car and a backup motor. He missed qualifying this morning in the warm-up, broke the right front suspension. Look for this team to mix up the strategy to give to the front. Rick?
Well, Jamie, one driver here who's tired of being good wants to get better. That's Marco Andretti. He's been good here. He's qualified in the top 10 every race. He's finished 5th the last 3 races, was in the hunt to win at the race before that, but he's tired of doing good. He wants to win here. Now, the problem is he's starting back in 8th place. He's got to work his way through the field. His problem today, his biggest thing, is how to channel that frustration into speed without making a mistake. Marty?
Thank you, Rick. Let's check our GoDaddy.com rules of racing. Scott?
Well, we're going to have 60 laps around this race course, 3.37 miles, as we mentioned. Pit strategy, 2 to 3 stops. If there's yellows, we might get it done in 2. All teams are expecting a 3-stop race here. Push to pass, we'll explain that as we go through. It's something new this year. 12 pushes, 22 seconds in length, a 10-second recharge, get an extra couple hundred RPM, and about 10 more horsepower. Drivers will use that. And the tires themselves, 6 original Blackwall tires, and then you have some reds and 3 sets of reds. And Vince Welch for an update on the tires. Let's hear it.
Well, Scott, 2 big different strategies with the 2 power teams, Penske and Ganassi. The Ganassi team starting 4th with Dario Franchitti and 7th with Scott Dixon will start on the reds, the alternate tires. It's a softer compound. As far as the blacks are concerned, they are the primary tire. As we get ready to go green, we're going green right now. These black primary tires, it's a harder compound on these tires, and that means that they are not going to be as good at the start. So the red's going to be better at the start. So the red cars of Ganassi looking to make up some spots right away at the beginning of the race, Marty.
And the race winner on every road course race out of 12 so far has been starting on the reds. Down the back straightaway, Willpower on the inside, Briscoe right behind him. That was fun, and it's going to be that way a lot, I think, as we get into the early stages of this race. It looks like a snake working its way through the bus stop chicane, now heading down towards the boot. And looked like one of the, well, it was the 10 car, Franchitti getting way outside.
And we're right along now with Scott Dixon, and he said, boy, it's tough to win from starting in 7th, and he's already trying to make his way up through there. If the leaders start to stretch away and we do not have any yellow flag scenarios, you end up in a situation where you're always playing catch-up.
Heading for the very bumpy section you described, turning, whoa, and saw a lot of dust kick up, somebody exiting out of the boot.
And Justin Wilson slides on the inside of Dixon. He got a little bit of a slow speed coming out of turn 7. It cost him on that run up the hill.
So drop him back a spot. Justin Wilson says thank you very much. Meanwhile, up front, you can see Team Penske running 1, 2, and 3. But remember, they all started on the primary black compound. We'll see if that strategy pays out for them as we get ready to complete lap number 1 of 60. It is Will Power, followed by almost a second with Ryan Briscoe, Elio Castroneves, Dario Franchitti, Justin Wilson, Scott Dixon in their top 6.
What all the drivers don't want to see is the ability of Will Power on a road course or a street course. He is so special, very talented. All the drivers know it. Even his teammates know it. If he gets out the lead, as we now look at the target cars trying to go on the inside, boy, there's not much room there.
Almost contact between the 3 of Castroneves, the 10 of Franchitti.
And Franchitti's trying to get past Castroneves because Franchitti looks in his mirrors and sees Justin Wilson. And Justin, very talented, obviously won here last year with Dale Coyne's team aboard the Dreyer and Reinbold machine. Now everybody knows whatever he drives, he's going to be very fast.
Well, Franchitti, Wilson, Dixon, they're all on the red compounds. They know they've got the little grip advantage here early in the race. They're trying to take advantage of it, but they can't get up to those 3 Penskes. Down through turn 8 again. Let's go back on board. That's with Scott Dixon.
Now this is where you want a good drive out of the turn. You have to get good acceleration here. Get yourself through 10 and 11 if you're going to have a shot at getting a draft down the front stretch. Dixon does not get it done that time, although Wilson was a little bit on the curve through 10. Does that give an opportunity for Scott Dixon? Does not look like it.
On the ticker, you'll see what tire each driver is running right now, whether it's the primary black or the alternate softer compound red. For Will Power, he has opened up the lead now to a second. He's leading his first laps ever at historic Watkins Glen.
This is a fun section, that 80-foot climb from turn 1 through turn 4. That run that we get going down here now is Dixon's going to have a shot, looking to take back the position from Justin Wilson. Gets it done nice and clean. 172 miles an hour into that bus stop chicane, down a quick couple of gears, back on the gas, through this carousel, and now the plunge down the hill into turn 6.
Great view from high above, gives you an idea. Wilson, as we mentioned, just dropped back a spot as he got passed by Scott Dixon. He's now running in 6th. Let's get more from Rick DeBrule.
Yeah, and talking with Larry Curry, the engineer and strategist for the team, he was saying they were very confident. They made some major changes as a result of the session this morning, felt very comfortable, and as they once again look at the action on the track, they were starting on the red tires because they don't feel they're going to get as much oomph out of those as they can with the black tires, the primary tires. So if things hold true the way they think going into this race, once they change the black, they may even be able to do even better than they've done so far.
So while they continue to try and move to the front, let's talk to the guys that are in front. Will Power, Ryan Briscoe, Elio Castroneves, and Team Penske. Vince, what do you have?
Well, Marty, just as we were talking about in regards to the relation of the tires between red and black, the blacks and the Penske car is going to be a little bit on the defensive initially as they try to hold off that initial charge from the reds. But once those blacks come in after a couple of laps, the blacks should be better over the long haul. In fact, all 3 Penske cars started on scuffed tires, thinking that would help them come in a little bit more. As you see a great battle of the red cars trying to get inside of the Penske car. Not going to work right now. Good defense from those 3 cars up front carrying the Penske colors.
They're putting on a great show for us, though, lap after lap heading into the bus stop. While this is going on, we'll update you, tell you that Paul Tracy has moved up 3 spots, started 12th. He's now up to 9th. Things have calmed down a little bit now with that battle in the top 5. We move a little bit further back into the field, and there you see everybody pretty much holding station. There's the 06 Hideki Muto, followed by Vitor Mira. And right after Mira is Simona Di Silvestro. Speaking of Paul Tracy, there we get our first good look at him. Of course, he'll be running the Canadian races. Our next stop in Toronto in 2 weeks. And Paul right now, 6 seconds behind the race leader, running in 9th.
You know, for Paul, this is a warm-up race before he goes to his hometown race in Toronto. He'll follow through and run the next weekend at Edmonton. And he said he pushed really hard for this, talked to a lot of people. He wanted to get it done, needed to get some time back in the seat before he goes to the street race in